in geology, there's really transformational science that we can learn by getting boots back on the moon, getting samples back, and being able to do field geology with trained astronauts on the surface, making observations that only they can make from that perspective.
Everybody start to see maybe softball size,
It's a fantastic place here in Iceland to be able to train geology. Also, navigation skills are another big component of what we're doing out here in a beautiful environment like this, out here camping in the highlands of Iceland.
Wow, what an office to work in. So later on in our coverage, we're going to be taking a closer look at the student ballooning experiments as well. And that's been taking place in Iceland for the past 24 hours. But now we're going to be chatting with Marie Henderson, who is the Artemis II Lunar Science Deputy Lead. She has experience training in Iceland and has a key role in the Artemis II Lunar Flyby data collection. Marie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me today.
So during the Artemis II mission, the astronauts were lucky enough to see a total solar eclipse from space. Not to be corny, but that's what I call sun and moon joy. Was that something that was planned from your side?
We knew that it was a possibility that we could have a solar eclipse during our lunar flyby. So months before, we prepared our lunar imaging procedures, some of that based on what we learned during the Apollo program, but also some that we learned from imaging that took place during the 2024 solar eclipse. And so we used that to prepare our cameras, but also once we realized we were coming up on a launch day, especially in April, where there was that possibility, we had to go back and we had extra time to train the crew on what they were going to be seeing during this eclipse and what types of observations the scientists were really excited to learn from them for.
Wow, what a lucky alignment of stars.
Yes.
Is seeing an eclipse from space any different from Earth? Did they see different things, and did they have to wear eclipse glasses?
Yes, the crew did have to wear eclipse glasses, and so we got those manifested, as you can see on your screen, for them to have to make safe observations. One of the large differences between what the crew saw as they went around the moon and from here on Earth is we looked at an eclipse through Earth's atmosphere, and so they didn't have to look through an atmosphere as they're going around the moon. So they're able to see the full extent of that corona as well as the zodiacal light in the solar system.
And how long was the eclipse up there?
It's about 53 minutes long. So
wow.
They got a much longer chance to look at that eclipse.
Wow, what an opportunity. What was the day like for you in the SUR?
It was a very exciting day. This was not something that we really knew exactly how it would be. And so we had just had a beautiful lunar flyby of the illuminated portions of the moon, and then we turned to watch this eclipse. And the descriptions that we heard coming down saying that they were, this is sci-fi, and they couldn't even imagine, and this glow, we didn't see that in our coverage, but once those images started coming down that night, it was mind-blowing to see exactly what they're describing, and I wish I was there myself.
Same. Well, that's incredible. So Artemis II has just launched, and so we have Artemis III to look forward to. Can you tell me how you're preparing for that mission?
Yeah, so Artemis III is a different type of mission. We're not going to be going to the moon. We're actually going to be working in Earth orbit. And so this will give us an opportunity to test our human landing systems, which will be the spacecraft that we take down to the surface of the moon. And so we'll work to hopefully dock with one or both of the human landing systems. But we're also going to have an opportunity to do a lot of science at Earth, because this will be a new,
pilots are chasing the eclipse from the sky.
Exciting.
So Kelly, can you tell me what are the benefits of observing the eclipse from up there?
Thank you so much for
observing
having
up there at 50,000
So
feet. Wow. Okay. So look at these. These are great. 50,000 feet, you're able to get above all the clouds. So they're above all the clouds, and we're able to again allow it to overtake us. So they get a few more seconds of totality. You saw that beautiful pink filament on the sun. That is something that Amir talked about, is that filament, that material that comes off the sun that can actually create space weather and affect our power grids here on Earth. It can affect our GPS. So if you ever use your maps to get anywhere. That's something that we need to understand to be able to predict. It also affects our astronauts, our dear astronauts, so making sure that they're okay. So those things are really important to study, and one of the reasons why we have the WB-57. It's a little hard to see, but in the words on the right-hand side, you see that pink filament now on the WB-57 feed, which is on the right-hand side.
So now let's welcome
so you can see it in the NVIS area, now kind of right in the center.
Kelly, how are you feeling about today's eclipse?
That prominence, and so this is amazing data, and it might not look as crisp as we're used to. We're used to 4K down here, but this is really data scientists can love, because this is telling us very specifically about part of the data. So it's like taking only a little part of the TV stream in, and really getting the information about the iron or the oxygen or the specific composition of what that's made of. And if we know what it's made of, we can do more science with it.
The moon's shadow hit us.